Okay, well, we're ready. Good morning, and thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate Strategic Passive Investments inviting Preferred Trust to be a part of this webinar this morning. So we're going to talk a little bit about self-directed IRAs today and how you can use them to invest in alternatives. So most people don't wake up in the morning and think to themselves, oh, today I want to open a self-directed IRA. Most of the time, they are seeking the investment first, and then the option to use a self-directed IRA or to use qualified retirement funds becomes, you notice that you can use that. And we talk about that more. So the investment usually comes first. So if you have that investment or you're seeking to make an investment in alternatives and you want to use retirement funds, then you have to have a self-directed IRA in between. So you can't invest directly through, let's say, Edward Jones or Charles Schwab or TD Ameritrade. They strictly specialize in your publicly traded assets, while self-directed custodians really specialize in the alternative investments, anything that's not publicly traded. So let's move on to our next slide. Oh, there we go. What is a self-directed IRA? So really, truly, this means self-directed. It means you as the investor are taking control of the account and making all of the investment decisions. There is not a financial advisor or someone providing investment advice that you might get from your typical standard IRA. So you alone are doing the due diligence. You are selecting those investments. And the self-directed IRA custodian is there to make sure that you're not self-dealing, that you're not doing anything to change the qualification of your IRA. So the benefits of a self-directed IRA, I think some people worry that they're losing the tax benefit of their qualified retirement account by putting in a self-directed IRA, and that's just not the case. So while the self-directed IRA gives you a greater diversification than what you might find in your traditional IRAs, you also are keeping the same tax advantages that you would have if you were investing in the stock market. So you have pre and post tax options for your accounts. You have that inherent asset protection that an IRA provides. And then you really are looking at building the wealth for your beneficiaries. With a self-directed IRA, being able to select the investments on your own gives you the opportunity to seek out investments that have potential for a higher ROI, so return on investment, that you might not get to do if you have a financial advisor help you. So those are really the benefits of a self-directed IRA. When we talk about account types, the biggest question, that we get all the time is this different from what I currently have as far as IRS federal regulations? They are worried that somehow there will be taxes on their funds, and it's just not true. You have the same type of accounts. So no matter if you're investing in alternatives or publicly traded investments and your standard traditional investments, the way the accounts are handled by the IRS is the same. So you have 4 different types of investments. You have a traditional IRA, you have a Roth IRA, you have a simple, and this is more for small businesses, those with 100 or less employees, and then a SEP IRA. And this is for your really small companies. A lot of people that are self-employed or have only 1 or 2 employees like this option, because they can provide a way for their employees to save for retirement without having the huge overhead of having a 401k. But most people are investing through their traditional, which is pre-tax, or their Roth, which is after tax. And if you're just starting, making a contribution to a Roth and getting started on an after-tax account is a great way to start investing in alternatives. So those are your 4 account types. So when you transfer an account over to us, you're going to pick one of 4, depending on what you currently have at your current custodian. So the Roth IRA, we talk a lot about the Roth IRA because each year the contribution limits are really dependent on your modified adjusted gross income. And each year, the IRS makes adjustments to that based on what your gross income is. For individual, you're looking at $161,000 a year, and for married, it's $240,000 a year. So you do have to be careful with that because if you do want to start a retirement account and you're thinking about starting a Roth, you just want to make sure that you can contribute and what your contribution limits are. And we always recommend that you speak with a CPA or a tax professional if you're trying to decide what to do going with either a traditional or a Roth account. So we always get asked, like, what's different from preferred trust? What makes us the right custodian? And I think the really important thing that you have to remember when you're looking at a custodian, most people have their 401ks through their employer's plan, and the employer is picking the custodian. But when you get to the opportunity to transition that 401k to an IRA or get started in an IRA, you do want to do your due diligence. You need to be able to make sure that you're working with the custodian that's right for you. So always looking at the reputation that the custodian has, looking at the reviews that the custodian has on all platforms is important. And I think that's how people make a lot of their decisions today. I mean, if you think about it, you make a lot of decisions where you go to eat, where you go to shop, those type of things based on others' input. So it's just as important when you're looking at the financial institution that you want to work with. Reputation is huge in the industry. You can even look out to see how they are regulated. Looking at their regulated bodies and seeing if there have been any complaints, seeing how their examinations have gone. You can really delve deep into that when you're looking to tell what type of custodian you're working with. Also, the investment options. We're all a little bit different in what we offer today. Not every self-directed custodian is going to offer, let's say, digital currency investments. It's a unique niche. It's a very challenging investment for custodians to custody. So not everyone's going to offer that. Not every custodian allows you to invest in foreign assets. So you just kind of have to see what are you interested in investing in? What investment options is the custodian allowing? And what are the reasons behind whether they're allowing a certain type of investment or not? The security measures, and that has a lot to do with how we are regulated. For Preferred Trust Company, we are a licensed trust company, regulated and licensed in the state of Nevada, which has one of the most stringent financial regulation bodies that there are in all the states. So you have to look at what security measures are in place. And sometimes that's just calling the custodian and asking the question and having a conversation with them. And then the educational resources as well that the custodian provides. Once you become an account holder at Preferred Trust, you get access to a lot of our educational material that you wouldn't if you weren't a client. So a little bit about Preferred Trust. We were founded in 2007. Like I mentioned earlier, we are licensed, regulated, and audited. So not only are we audited by our licensing board, basically the state of Nevada Financial Institutions Division, but we are also audited every year from a third-party independent accounting firm. And so we do go through a very rigorous regulation when we do get our license. We are custodian and administrator, and I think that's important. This is a big sticking point with a lot of people. Custodian means you are licensed, you are regulated, you're not just pushing paper. And an administrator doesn't necessarily have those licenses. They can administer the paperwork, they can send you an application, but they're not having custody of your cash or your assets when you do purchase something. So you do have to be very careful with that. There's a big difference between a custodian and an administrator. So we do it all. We don't outsource anything. Our team handles everything from onboarding you through the application process all the way through the investment process, and then just maintaining your account, providing you with online access, providing you with client service representatives. And throughout the years, Preferred Trust Company has actually custodied over $3.4 billion in alternative assets. So we are very unique in the fact that we've never wanted to be the big, huge wheel in the industry. We like providing very customized, hands-on approach with our clients. We like to be, when you call Preferred Trust Company, we answer the phone. If you do have to leave a message, we're calling you within the next hour. We're emailing you back right away. So that's super important that we give that high level of customer service. We've integrated and put many systems in place to be able to provide that high level of customer service to our customer base. And then everyone always wants, this is the part that we never love to talk about is fees, but we're very transparent with our fees. Unlike your traditional IRA providers, the TD Ameritrades and the Edward Jones, they make money off of the investments that you select. That is not something that a self-directed custodian is allowed to do. We are not licensed to do that. So any income you make off of your investments, it goes all back into your IRA. We're not taking any portion of that. We actually could lose our license if we did that. So we make our funds, our money off of the fees that you pay us to actually process your investment. So we have an annual administration fee, and it's based on the value of your account. And you can see right there, we lay it out online. Our fee schedule is available online, very transparent. It's based on value, cash and assets all in. So let's say, the average account holder usually has an account value of somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000. So you're looking at between $300 and $400 a year for us to administer your account. We do receive and assess a $50 establishment fee. That's to get you through the application process, to process your application, and to also transfer the funds from wherever financial institution they might be currently being held by. And then we have an alternative investment transaction fee. So this covers all of your alternative investments, any investments that you would find on the Strategic Passive Investment website. Any of those investments is a $200 transaction fee. So we are very straightforward. That's it. There's nothing hidden there. And we're happy to discuss the fees with you at any time as well. So a lot of people ask, well, for this annual fee, what do we receive? Because we're not giving you any kind of financial advice. So it's our job as custodian to report to the IRS the value of your account at the end of the year, cash and assets. We also report any distributions that you might be taking. We provide you with annual account statements, monthly account statements as well, phone and email support, continuing education, and online access to your account 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We also process any contributions that you might make to your account, any distributions you might take from your account. So there's a lot that goes into maintaining a self-directed IRA, and that's what that annual fee pays for. So alternative investment options. So this is really nice because it's all encompassing. You can really pick and choose and diversify. That's one of the things that we talk about with our clients a lot, is diversification is important. If you want to keep money in the stock market, we think that's a great idea. Diversifying across publicly traded to privately held is important. And then you can diversify within the publicly traded investments that you hold. Real estate, so we're talking things like fix and flips or income properties. So talking about rental properties, REITs, trust deed notes, precious metals investments. So you are allowed to hold certain gold, silver, platinum, and palladium within your account. Digital currency investments like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, anything you can think of, digital currency investments can be held. Natural resources, oil and gas, mineral rights, private placement investments. So maybe you're interested in investing in a friend's startup company. You can do that. So there are a lot of investments options. There are very few things that the IRS says you can't invest in. And there are very few. You can't invest in insurance policies and collectibles, things like art, alcohol. So very few things you can't invest in. And then you have to make sure that you're working with the right investment sponsor. Since we don't give investment advice from the point of view from a custodian, we always make sure our clients know that doing your due diligence is super important. Researching the company, looking at their track record, excuse me, looking at what their investment strategy is, knowing your investment strategy, getting market knowledge, all important. So how do you get started? Opening an account is super easy. You can do it online. You can complete the online application. And then we just need to know where your money is. So is it being held at a bank? Is it being held at another custodian? Is it in a 401k? Once we transfer the money over, then you get to select your investment. We process that investment for you, and then you should start receiving income into your account. And then you can, if you want to schedule a consultation with one of our client service reps, you can scan the QR code here now. And I think, let's see, yeah, I think that covers it.
Okay, so we're strategic passive investments, and this little tidbit fact that I thought was pretty interesting is only 13% of Americans can know that they can take control of their retirement savings. And what this means is that the SDIRA is probably one of the most underutilized tools in the investment world, which kind of is surprising to me because of all the benefits that we just heard Maddie kind of talk about. And then Maddie kind of went into this, but being that we're on an SDIRA and investment webinar, things that you can invest in, but Maddie kind of crushed that, so we don't really have to spend too much time on this. I do have quite a bit of slides, so I'm going to kind of just touch base on everything, and then if you have questions or anything, you can follow up after. So who we are, like I said, we're Strategic Passive Investments, over 30 million in transactions over the last 24 months, over 90 million in the last 5 years. We help investors create a passive investment platform for them. What I say is that investors are the capital partners in what we do, and we kind of handle the day-to-day operations, everything from acquisition of the property or the investment all the way throughout to the liquidation of it and everything in between. We prize ourselves on having high yield, conservative, and consistent double-digit returns. For our fix and flips, for example, we have a 16%, 12 to 16%, depending on if you get into it at the minimum or if you get into it with a little bit of cushion, but 12 to 16% promise that's put in place on all of our projects. And what this does is just kind of reassures the investor that it's in our best interest to obviously make a little bit higher than that, so we can kind of get our pay on the back end. That's how we are compensated. Numerous peer reviews and accolades over the years, and industry recognized and transparent. If you have questions throughout your process, just reach out, and I'm usually available from email to text any time of the day or night. What we kind of do here, this is a breakdown of what we do. So fix and flips, tax deeds and liens, turnkey buy and holds. We have private lending, a couple fractional ownerships right now in some large projects. And we also do have some oil and gas well flipping. So it's still kind of like a fix and flip. What they do is they take oil and gas wells, repair them, make sure that they're running efficiently, and kind of sell them off. This is for accredited investors only. The oil and gas, everything else is for kind of anybody. So if you read the description of this, we wanted to talk about the markets where to invest. So our favorite market is Savannah, Georgia, currently the third fastest growing city in America. And we're looking at becoming the fastest growing city in America after the port expansion is a little bit further on in the progress, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. America's hottest market, one of the areas has increased 132% in the last 4 years. This is a slide, probably a little bit out of date. I need to revise this. Some of these colors probably wouldn't be the same color, so let me explain it a little bit. All the green ones are fix and flips that we've already completed, sold, and for clients. All the yellow ones are properties that we are in renovation process with, and all the red ones are ones that we purchased and are just waiting for funding. What I like about this slide here is we have power in numbers. When you see all the green homes here, we list 3 or 4 of these at a time, and let's just say for numbers sake, the market's going for 200,000 at that time. If we list 3 or 4 at a time at 220, that kind of becomes the new going rate for the market value. And then when new projects, the yellow ones, come into play where they're ready to be offloaded, we find a lot of times realtors are actually using our comps from our previous projects. So we have this is probably like a 5-mile radius. So you can see we bulk down in some of these areas. I believe one's the State Streets, and the other one is on the west side. So we definitely bulk down in some of the areas, and sometimes buy blocks at a time. Home values in Savannah, Georgia market in 2022, at the close of 2022, 29.1% increase, and home values in 2023, 19.6%. We have a project that we bought in 2020. Obviously, it was a wild time for real estate, but we purchased it, and just on the appreciation, we gained about 40% for it just sitting there. So this market is extremely hot, and with all the benefits that we're about to go into, we don't see any signs of it slowing down. The rent, so 52, the last bulletin point, 52% of our houses here in Savannah are renters, which is phenomenal, as far as it's at a lower threshold for people to kind of eat up these houses. And what we find out is there's a lot of buy and hold cash flowing investors in this area, obviously. So with rent going up 42% in the last 4 years, and 33% in the last 36 months, it doesn't show signs of slowing down. And with that increase, obviously we need more jobs, we need a better paying job. So we're about to go into a few larger items that came into our city, which kind of fulfills this need. Why is Savannah so hot? Well, it's all about the infrastructure. First thing is SCAD, Savannah College Art and Design. Sounds like a smaller school, but they actually have campuses in La Crosse, France, Atlanta, and I believe Tokyo. Tokyo might have closed down, but they do have a few campuses around the world. And in this slide you see here, all the yellow boxes are SCAD buildings. So they're all either dorms, staff buildings, or actual classrooms. And as you can see, they're kind of like scattered across the entire city, making Savannah, the city itself, the campus of SCAD, which is beautiful because where they go, there isn't an option of failure. So what we kind of been following is the model that where SCAD goes, we go, but for residential. So they buy a large building and they convert it into maybe a staff a building or housing or dorms. We buy 3 or 4 houses in a 0.5 mile radius, convert those, and either turn them into student housing or just houses for, you know, anybody to live that's going to work in that kind of development. So for the past 4 years, Savannah transported more containers through its port than any other port in the country. This is by volume. And what's super exciting about this is we're having port expansion, which they claim a 33% increase in jobs. So with a port this large and this powerful, the jobs keep coming. What that means, like I said back at the slide of the renters, people need to live kind of nearby. So more people to fulfill this second port expansion, and more need for the housing to be developed, either renters or first-time home buyers. And that's kind of the niche that we fill. America's headquarters for Gulfstream is here in Savannah, Georgia as well. And they just built another warehouse. I think they're up to 3 warehouses now where they develop Gulfstream jet planes here. We have the JCB North America headquarters here as well. So it's kind of like Caterpillar, big utility construction vehicles. And they also fulfill a lot of the military needs for these kind of equipment, if you will. Amazon stepped their foot into Savannah, Georgia, 2022. 600,000 square foot fulfillment center. So again, a lot of jobs, just good thing after one after another kind of thing. Here's them cutting the ribbon with Kemp. One thing that will never fail, obviously, is military bases. Savannah, Georgia has 2 military bases right here. What happens is we get the client or people that are out of the military, and then they still have either work to do there, or maybe they just have larger families. They don't want to live on base any longer. They tend to move into Savannah, Georgia, and first-time home buyers, or even become investors themselves. So this is two powerful entities here that keep Savannah again thriving, making it one of our favorite markets in USA. This was pretty amazing news when we found out. It was Hyundai Motors came in, $5.54 billion investment into an electrical vehicle factory. I was speaking just last week with someone saying they're not sure about the electric vehicle industry, and I was kind of agreeing with them. It's expensive. It depends. The one thing is Hyundai again isn't going to fail, and with 5.5 billion, what I was kind of saying is all they're going to do is either convert it to something else, or double down on the research and something like a hydrogen or something along those lines. But for them to come in and invest 5.54 billion, which happens to be the largest investment in Georgia overall, even in Atlanta, the largest investment into Georgia. So we were extremely excited about this. And with that size factory, again, jobs and need for housing. And not to mention the tourism. Tourism is humongous. Best city to visit for the last 12 years. Just accolades after accolades for the tourism. And I believe what is in the making now is they're actually looking to raise our main bridge, and in a few years utilize this as a port for cruise liner ships. So the tourism is going to be out the roof when you have a different cruise liner ship coming in every other day with thousands of people just getting off right on River Street. And one of my favorite things it's kind of almost hard to believe, but we are the new Hollywood. Georgia in general, a lot of filmmaking process happens here at more Atlanta, but Savannah, Georgia is definitely number 2 on that list. And we kind of took over in large developed projects with it's just not Forrest Gump anymore. It's everything from Baywatch was filmed here, SpongeBob was filmed here, and a lot of newer projects are coming out of Savannah, Georgia. Netflix is here all the time. There's so many streets that are just locked down because there's filming. It was probably maybe like a couple months ago, there was 2 blocks that were shut down and they just filled it with dirt, and they were filming a Western. So it's really cool to see just the growth of the film industry that are taking place here. And this kind of fulfills one of our needs for corporate housing. When these film crews come in, sometimes they'll be here for 6 to 12 months just shooting, and that kind of creates a need for higher end housings, and not just, the single family residential as well. So what we kind of do, getting back to that, is one of our main bread and butters here is fix and flips. Here's a project. I'm just going to go through these kind of quickly just so you can see what we kind of pick up. I saw on our call today, there was a gentleman that I was taking around, and he can contest. This is probably one of the nicer ones. Some of them are very rough, and we'll get into that in our extreme flip slides. But just so you are what our skill set is in our before and afters kind of thing. So here's one of them, and this is what we turned it into. So really nice. We have a thing for red doors. It makes it pop kind of thing. So if you see down in the lower right, that's what it used to be. Wood paneling kind of vibes, brown stove. We turned it in, make it real modernized. Beautiful green carpet, obviously we modernized that, and all of our houses are kind of consistently the same. Agreeable gray on the walls, same style ceiling fans, same style LVP flooring. We spend a little bit more time on the kitchens and the bathrooms. As you see, we obviously those are high ticket selling items, so we put a little bit more love into those. On the lower right here was a little shed in the background, little garage. We actually converted that into a whole nother dwelling, and made it a mother-in-law suite kind of thing, and it was able to be some kind of a rental unit for the people that bought this. And this is that shed in the back. So we converted into an entirely new property. As you see the red rectangle here, that's where the carport was. We just closed it up and made it into a dining living room area space. Here's some numbers on it. So this was 2412 Mississippi. Price per square foot for that was 97.55. And we're looking at a net return of $22,000. So this was a pretty great project here. Really rewarding when you get to see the before and afters. Another example, we won't go through it crazy, but you can just see the before and afters. Again, red door, make it pop kind of thing. Again, same kind of floor, same ceiling fan, same everything. A little bit more love in the bathrooms, a little bit more love in the kitchen area here. And the numbers, and I'll be able to send this to you, or you can just watch the post recording if you want to get into these numbers. Just for time's sake, I'm going to keep on going. Here's the extreme flip I was talking about. I want you to pay a lot of attention to this slide on the right here. As you can see, it's just cinder blocks. There's no flooring, there's no roofing, there's no walls, there's no anything really. This was an extreme flip. This was more consistent with what I was showing this gentleman that was in last week. Really rough on the inside. It's complete gut job, and this is what it turned out to be. And that property, or that the cinder block walls, let's just see, was right here. These bottom two, we converted it into an entire house, and these slides are all that property. So again, you would never be able to tell that this didn't kind of always exist. And if I were to tell you that it was just 3 cinder block walls and nothing else, it's hard to kind of imagine. But that's what we kind of did. We turned it into a whole nother dwelling and made it a rental property for the new buyer, or 2 rental properties if you were an investor and you were looking for cash flow. We also do private lending. So we do a private lending. Right now, we currently have a project on Hilton Head Island, a little bit higher price. So we'll use a little bit better material than single family residentials in Savannah, Georgia. But this is the design, the CAD designs for the CAD designs for the property Madison on Hilton Head Island. This is maybe a month ago picture of it. So we are already in full development of that project. The insulation has been done, the wiring, the electric, plumbing, inspections all the way through. So basically what it is, it's a short-term investment. And we back it up by a security deed, so you're protected by the first lien on it. And it's basically you're the hard money lender, and we lend money from you. And that also pays a 12 to 16% ROI annualized. For more information, we can go into that in greater detail if you would like after the presentation. Turnkey buy and hold. So some people love the cash flow aspect of it. This is one of the projects we currently have now that is in-house owned, and we are offering partnership of this. And it's a turnkey investment property. Here's a small little video that I'm just going to play. I think it's like a minute or a minute and a half, just so you can see what we have going on. These are consistent with our turnkey buy and holds that we have. Again, a little bit more love in the bathrooms, high-end tiles. This is renter ready. Move in, everything's done. You buy it obviously at market value, but then it starts cash flowing instantly. Or we also offer something along the lines of a fix and flip, or fix and hold, we should call it, where you get into it as the pictures you saw that were a little bit more rough. And that way it comes with equity built in. If you just want cash flowing properties right now, we have them. If you want to cash flow and wait the 12 months while we repair it and fix it up and get it ready, we can do that. And that one comes with a little bit of equity, obviously. We also are heavy in tax deeds and tax liens in Georgia. Georgia is a hybrid state, so it has tax deeds and liens. The penalty is paid on redemption is 20% of the purchase price. So if you buy for 100,000, you get 120 back in 1 year, or if they happen to pay their taxes off the moment after the tax sale, you'll get that 20% of the purchase price of that tax deed or lien instantly the day of. So Georgia tax deeds and liens are pretty good. How it is a first case basis. If you decide to get in and are interested in tax deeds and liens with us, and you provide us funds, if you are the second person to provide us funds, we'll go to the tax sale, which is every first Tuesday of the month. So we're about a month out into the next one. And we don't cherry pick for investors. We kind of just go on properties that we are pretty sure that will create a profit, and we're very confident that we did our due diligence in, and we buy them as the investor came in. So if you're second on the list, you'll be second on the tax sale list of when we purchase. That will be your tax deed registered into your name or your SDIRA. Here's some examples. This property, small, obviously, but it was $887 is what they owed. Pretty simple for them to buy it. This tax deed was sold for $60,000, which the penalty of 20% is $12,000. So the cost to redeem to the current homeowner would have been $72,000. If they don't go through that, then we start thinking about foreclosure and taking ownership. We usually like to get into these tax deeds and liens, properties that we know will do well, either A, that they're going to pay off the cost of redemption, or B, that will do well if they foreclose, and we can basically put a couple more $1,000 into it and renovate them and sell it. This is one that I was talking about in the first example. We know this one is going to pay. This hotel is right here in town, in Midtown, and they're not going to allow this to lapse. So purchasing this with a property value of 7.5 mil is we're pretty confident that it's coming back by the owners, and they're not going to let this kind of just fall wayside. So basically, they probably just error in paperwork, maybe for whatever reason, just got this tax deed put on their property, and it went to auction. So we look for properties that we know that they're going to kind of redeem on them as well. This is what I was talking about, fractional ownership. Partnerships we're getting into. We actually own this property with the pillars and the one directly next to it in the picture at the left. Here's what the inside looks like, as well as there's a video. So why we love these properties so much is it's all about the location. So where I'm currently at right now is at Bordeaux, and that is in this figure in this slide. It's the green square here. This is the used to be called Mansion in Savannah, or Savannah Mansion. Now it's called a Hotel Bordeaux. That's where I'm staying right now. And our property that you just saw the slide is the red rectangle. The big green space is the largest park in Savannah, Georgia. It's Forsyth Park. That's basically Forsyth Park is basically Central Park to New York City. It's the park. There's shows, there's concerts, there's orchestras, there's events. This is one of the events. You see the yellow arrow here. That's where our property is, 804 808 Drayton. You see this big brick building over here. That's the Club Bordeaux. Here again, another aerial view. We actually own this one and this one on the corner. Bordeaux is the big brick one there. There's some of these numbers here, which I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to make it a sales pitch. As for preferred trust, it's for education more than it is for a sale. So I don't want to go into these too much, but if you do have interest in it, I would be more than happy to take these phone calls. And just to go over, here's a short video on where, let me just start that over just so you guys can see. This is the park. I'm on the other side of the street. And then this is going into 808 Drayton. And this is a couple months old, so some of this work has already been done. Some of the demolition has already been completed, but this is just to get you a general idea of the size of this building. Everything surrounding the park in Savannah here is $1 million mansions, historical. So we're extremely excited about this project coming to fruition. And then also the project next to it, 804 Drayton. And that one's going to be utilized as corporate housing. By this one, we believe is going to be just a high-end flip, which will be a single house, but it has usage of commercial or a niche little boutique hotel. And again, I don't want to get too much into the numbers as I don't want it to be salesy. But if you do have questions, I can take calls or texts or emails after this and go over anything that you might have questions on. This is the 804 project. And both of these, like I said, are directly next to the Club Bardot where I'm at right now. I have to do some video logging over there after this, so that's why I'm over here kind of double dipping down today. Here's a rendering of what that building's going to look like, and we are in the phase of HVAC. There was no HVAC into this building. These are both very old buildings, so we are in the phase of putting the air handlers in. We've already ran the lines, the electrical lines, the plumbing lines, some PEX pipe. We've already gotten the electric and the plumbing, I believe, is completed. We're just looking to kind of finish this off. And one of the beautiful things that come with this, if you look in the right slide here, number 1, number 2, that's our buildings. And everything back here is a parking space, a parking lot that came with it. Now, Savannah is very challenging to find parking. So we actually have a built-in parking lot, and the beauty of it is we are cash flowing on this parking lot as is. So we're not waiting until these projects are finished or completed. We are cash flowing on these projects as is. The Hotel Bardot actually valets overflow here, so they pay us a monthly fee. And then also we have public parking available by QR code in your phone on the rest of the spots. So we are currently cash flowing, and this comes with the investments that we just went over the last few slides. Here's some numbers on it. Again, not to be salesy, but 20 spaces a day is what we have, and 21,000 monthly in revenue just from the parking alone. So we're pretty excited about, pretty much nothing there. It's a little empty spot, and we just figured a way out to make it really work for us. This is 804 Drayton, which I was explaining, the one on the corner. As you see, we got the air conditioners in, they're ready. The walls are gutted out. We have the material ready. And these are some renderings of what it will look like. We're going to go very high end. These are going to be corporate housing for what we were talking about before, for all those music movie execs and everything coming in, or even somebody that's just coming in on business that wants to do a short or a long-term rental. Our plan is to kind of hold it for 3 to 5 years as the corporate housing, and then get into that's how long it takes to get a certificate for Airbnb in Savannah, as there's only a limited amount of those. It takes 3 years to get into your certificate for the Airbnb short-term vacation. So, and then we'll convert into short-term vacation. And as you saw, we're right on the park. So the fulfillment of that project after we get into short-term vacation will be pretty much 80–90% fulfilled all times. Another rendering of what we're going to have it look like. And that is it. That's all I have for you guys. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions and want to get up on a follow-up email or a call, I'm more than happy to take over and reach out to you guys. I do see there's some things in the, okay, it's all preferred trust. Okay. I just always want to thank Preferred Trust. We've been kind of working with them on and off for the last year or two, and there's some more talks of these. So if you have any topics that you want us to talk about or kind of do some more of these, I look forward to it. I appreciate you guys, Preferred Trust, of course. Do you have anything else that you want to recap or close it off with?
No, we appreciate the time. We thank you for inviting us to be a part of the webinar. And yeah, you can reach out to Preferred Trust as well. Any questions about self-directed IRAs, we're happy to help.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Maddie. And everyone on here, if you would like, you guys have my email address. And if not, I will put it in the chat here so everyone can see it. And you can write it down. And I will send out, I have all your email addresses and I'll send them out the post recording on this. All right, there's my contact info if you would like to write it down, and I'm available email, call, text, however you would like. I appreciate everyone for joining. I'll send this out post record, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. Have a great day.